Hello, everybody, and welcome to Style Esports Season 5. Who knows what game it is? Who knows what's going on? I really don't have a clue what's happening. It's Toxic Nature taking on We Are Poggers, our second attempt at a series today. The first one ended in a bit of a forfeit after a substitute did not quite arrive in time to make the game. So we spent another 20 minutes dealing with the client, and that has led us to the draft of this game that was also supposed to start 45 minutes ago. Anyway, also, as you may have noticed, it's just me today. I'm your Carl. I'll be your caster on the play-by-play and on the color tonight. X-Man87 unfortunately had a bit of a illness problem, so he's going to be out tonight. So you're going to have to just listen to me rambling on for a while. Thank you to Reseda in the chat. I am not salty at all about what's going on. Anyway, Caitlyn, first ban away from Toxic Nature. A little bit surprised to see that one come through. Caitlyn did get nerfed just a little bit in this last patch, and that is something to take into consideration, is those nerfs and buffs in the patch notes. Always read the patch notes, folks. Literacy, very important if you want to play League of Legends. So she's not quite as good, but Toxic Nature evidently afraid of the We Are Poggers Caitlyn, and honestly, it sounds pretty poggers to me. Don't worry, folks. The jokes will be coming through thick and fast all night. Toxic Nature goes for the Shen in the top lane. I think arguably the best top laner right now in the game. Huge amount of damage. I've seen him kind of, solo carrying games, going with 10, stuff like that. Also, the giant shield, stand united on the backs of 80 carries and mid laners everywhere can be very helpful. Or in the selection to go up against him. And honestly, that makes a lot of sense, right? You want somebody tanky that scales well in the late game. Orin is your champion. The Graves locked in as well. They're just going straight down the pick order for us here today, which makes my job a little bit easier. Absolutely. Unless it's the Graves 80 carry. I remember Graves 80 carry like 5 years ago before he was reworked was a lot more fun than the Graves right now. It's kind of a burst 80 carry. Think like Lucian, but 3 times more burst. It was a pretty good time. So we definitely recommend if you ever get a chance to go play on, Season 4, Season 5 patch that you do just that. Was certainly quite a lot of fun. A lot of scaling already picked up on both sides, I'm noticing. The Kassadin, of course, a hyper late game scaler, as is the Ornn, with the items that he can upgrade, giving everybody, around 1,000, a little bit more than that in gold value. Total of 6 of those can be upgraded throughout the game for, around 7,500 gold value, which certainly can be a lot coming through for him here, as Toxic Nature doing their best to make me ramble for as long as possible, running it down to the wire here before they pick up the Frost Archer for that marksman position. One would assume that's where that one's going to be going. Last time I saw an AP Ash mid was in One for All, and I don't think that's what we're playing. So assuming that's going to be the marksman, one of the stronger 80 carries right now did get nerfed just a little bit. But all of those top tier 80 carries did just a bit. And Master Yi has been locked in for We Are Poggers. I don't really know what to say about that, but it looks like that is the real pick coming through. I guess it's a Master Yi mid. Maybe we're going to see a Yi mid and a Taric support going like a funnel situation. Not too sure about that one. We're going to have to find out. Send a band away, another one of those top tier 80 carries. Ezreal Kai'Sa still on the table. Vayne also received some buffs alongside Sivir. So potentially could be seeing a lot of those on the side of We Are Poggers. I'm not entirely sure why they banned away Senna. I guess maybe concerned about Senna support with their Master Yi combo. So that could be pretty fun indeed. Kale banned as well, just taking off more of that scaling. Not also entirely sure where a Kale would go. Play Kale jungle. I guess it could be a River Shen in the jungle. That's something we've seen gain a little bit of priority recently, but Toxic Nature. One more ban to go before We Are Poggers going to continue to round out their comp, which I'm also noticing right now is only physical damage. That could be a bit of a problem in the late game with the Shen getting a little bit tanky, maybe a tank support, Braum, something like that, and in the jungle position still available. So I think if Toxic Nature were to round their comp out with a Braum and a Sejuani or something, maybe could be a bit of a problem there for We Are Poggers. The hard CC from Sejuani or Zac would also come in handy up against Master Yi, as We Are Poggers really trying to flip the script on us here with a set locked in as well. I'm presuming that will be set support, so we may see a Master Yi set bot lane. Kind of like a kill lane situation, trying to go after Ashe here, or a Yi in the mid lane and Taric support, although I don't really know what you would do in the bot lane. So I guess we'll have to just wait and see about that one. But all these picks do seem to be real after all. So we're just rolling along with that. Toxic Nature, they're going to need to come up with some kind of an answer. I like the Darius pick, indicating likely will be a Shen in the jungle position and a Rammus locked in as well, throwing the script even more up in the air. I would guess this will be a Shen in the support position alongside Ashe with a Darius top and a Rammus in the jungle. I have not seen Rammus in a very long time. but potentially could be very, very strong. Really good against full AD comps. Like I was saying, Set, Yi, Graves, and Ornn, all mostly physical damage. Syndra, the only bit of AP. So if the Syndra does not get ahead, and I don't really think she has a lot of reason to get ahead in this game, Kassadin, a well-known anti-mage, up against Syndra, I think will do quite fine. I don't think he's going to be going down. I think the Kassadin needs to make sure he's not getting behind early, because as long as this Kassadin is not behind, I think this team, will do just fine as we get into the actual champion select here. And runes have been reforged, the client's telling me. So, I really needed to know that one to spectate this game. But anybody out there, please be aware that runes were reforged a year and a half ago. So if you missed the memo on that one, it's your daily reminder that runes are reforged. I'm sure the next time I log in, all my skins are going to be off too. So that's nice. Thanks, Riot, for the client. Actually, I take that back. I don't want to insult Riot. You never know who's listening, of course. Great company, by the way. So just wanted to get that one on the record here. As we do have some more time to break down the draft, I guess I should stop saying we, because, reminder, it's just me today. So you're going to have to just listen to me for probably the next several hours, because at the rate at which we're getting games done today, we are going to be here until midnight, regardless of what time zone you're in. So that's pretty exciting stuff too. I do want to mention the We Are Poggers. They definitely have a very proactive early game, especially in the bot lane. They have this Yi set in the bot lane, I'm assuming. We'll see what the picks actually are when they come through in the pro draft, but presumably they will be that Master Yi in the set in the bot lane. And as a kind of standard, kill lane, you want to just go over the kills on the AD carry. I think the Shen support potentially could keep the Ashe alive a little bit easier than some other supports. This was an Enchanter support. I would fear for this lane a little bit more. But the base damages on Set, on Yi, are pretty high. Ashe could be in a lot of trouble here, especially if there's a Hex Flash. Even the real Flash just immediately from Set could do a lot of work for them. So I think the We Are Poggers bot lane probably favored, I would say, especially in this lower elo bracket. Players are a little bit less used to playing against cheese strategies. We'll see how practiced the Yi and Set look, because that's another thing where it also could be a little bit worse, although it appears that it is a Yi in the mid lane. So we're going to see a Syndra bot lane. I don't know why that didn't occur to me. That makes a lot more sense. But there you have it. That's what it's at, folks. So Syndra bot lane, Yi in the mid lane. I don't like the Yi in the mid lane a lot. I don't think he's going to do very well against Kassadin. I guess we're going to find out how that cookie crumbles. But until level 6, I think you will have a lot of trouble just because it's melee against melee. You kind of want something more ranged to go up against Kassadin. In the mid lane, typically, I think Yi could be in some trouble from Aku on the Rammus here. We'll see how that works out for him. We'll see where the Rammus wants to coordinate those ganks. I think we could see that in the top lane as well, just because you want to get Darius rolling. Of course, if Darius gets really far ahead, you can have a lot of problems. I like the composition, however, that Toxic Nature have drafted up against all of this AD. They have a lot of tanky members, Darius, Rammus, Shen. All of those are, at least bruisers or more. Rammus turns armor into AD. Rammus loves to build armor. Definitely will be able to do so. I think Chaos Fury and Panungaku in the bot lane are going to just need to keep themselves safe. You don't want to be going down. This is a very aggressive lane. Syndra Set, you get hit by the stun, you get hit by the face breaker at the same time. A lot of problems could arise from that situation. So I think if you're the side of Toxic Nature, you want this Kassadin to scale, you want the Darius to get ahead, and you want the Rammus's tanky statistics just to stack themselves up. Leave the bot lane to itself. Maybe help it out a little bit, but you don't want to be getting kills from this lane. You want them to just be sitting back, farming safely, and then looking for those arrows in the mid game. Let Ashe be more of a utility character. Let the Kassadin, the Darius, and the Rammus be the ones that are actually doing the damage. If you're the side of We Are Poggers, I think this side, they want to, be controlling early in the bot and mid side. You want to be getting this Yi ahead. You want to be getting the bot lane ahead. Essentially the opposite strategy that Toxic Nature has in this game. I expect We Are Poggers to have control over the dragons in the early game. Sure, Rammus is pretty strong early, but if you have bot lane control, which I expect Desert Rose and Grappler to have, they should be able to translate that into a dragon. Maybe Aku can trade that with the Rift Herald, maybe try to go for some kind of a turret push in the top lane. I think this is going to be a game of two different sides of the map. Darius in the top lane up against that Yi Syndra combo in the bot lane. If Darius can get farther ahead, I think they can win. If Kuroko is able to snowball the dragons and this bot lane lead on the Master Yi and the Syndra, I think that We Are Poggers definitely could have the edge in that. We might see two very fed champions go head to head in these team fights. Last point I'll make before we get set to load into the game, I do think that We Are Poggers may struggle a little bit sieging a turret just because they don't have any real range, right? Highest range member on their team is Syndra. she's not really known for her, long-range auto attack. She's, of course, not a marksman. You have some pick potential with the Scout of the Week and the Ornhorn, but other than that, I think their sieging could be a little bit weak compared to Chaos's Fury volley spam, which could do a lot of work for them. So I think the stage is set for this. I think we're going to see this Darius versus the Yi Syndra combo. Who can carry harder? Whose team can help them succeed a little bit more? We'll find out all about that in game number 1 here between Toxic Nature and We Are Poggers in the Zon group. We're going to step aside while we load onto the Rift. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, on to Summoner's Rift. Toxic Nature on the blue side, taking on We Are Poggers on the red side here in the Zon group after a large number of delays today. Thank you all for sticking with us. Some League of Legends is actually on the fields of justice. Should be a good time. After all, we got a Master Yi in the mid lane, so that's pretty fun. Don't want to discount that. 5-point stack right now for Toxic Nature. and the 5-point line of scrimmage for We Are Poggers, making it very clear nothing will happen at the level 1, which honestly, I don't know if I'm supposed to be excited about that or heartbroken about that, because of course I do need to come up with something to talk about, but I also don't want to just yell myself hoarse during game number 1. So I'll figure out about that. I imagine we will see some fighting in this game. We have a Rammus, we have a Yi. These are champions that want to be fighting, that want to kind of be popping off. I'm excited about this bot lane specifically. We'll see how that works out. I would imagine that Desert Rose and Grappler would have the advantage up against Ashe and the Shen, but Shen is a champion that does a random amount of damage at random times, essentially. So I think that could be pretty fun to see come out. Definitely could be kind of hard carrying his team, potentially. So we'll watch out for that in the bot lane, as the buffs will be spawning in about 5 seconds. Junglers are going to both be starting at their red buffs, which is not something you see every day. So they're going to be in retrograde, as Axeman87 likes to say. I don't know how I feel about that term, but that is where they're starting. So likely will not be meeting each other in the early game at all. Going to be waiting for later on in this contest for that one. We also may have to pause occasionally for some sips of the water. Always stay hydrated out there. So make sure you got your beverage, got your snacks, got your popcorn ready for this game, of course. So figure out hydration breaks when appropriate. A little bit of a push in the bot lane. Chaos Fury shoving up against the Syndra and the Sat, whose name momentarily popped out of my head. The thing about Syndra is she's very useless at level 1 because there's no stun and there's not really any damage. So basically a ranged minion at level 1, so not going to get a whole lot done. Level 2 power spike there. Panugaku, a huge zone right now. Chaos Fury getting some minions behind that. So the We Are Poggers bot lane going to be pushed under their tower for the time being. Volley likely going to come out. There it is, landing onto Grappler. Just a little bit here, as not a whole lot has happened yet, much to my chagrin. In the early game, level 2 finally hit. Panugaku taking some damage from the minions. Watch out for those minions, folks. They will hurt a lot. Early game minions do definitely do. I'm apparently from the 1700s. A lot of damage to you, so you don't want to fight in a minion wave. That's very important, but a nice bit of pressure right now for the Toxic Nature side in the bot lane. Happy Sugar Life 99. Nice name. All caps, too. He was born with caps lock on, and he's not afraid to tell you all about that one. Got teleport on Yi, which to me seems a little bit counterintuitive, but maybe he knows something that I don't. We will find out about that one, too. There's just a lot of questions in this game. Will Chaos Fury get another CS as he misses 3 in a row? Grappler whiffs the Facebreaker as well, so it looks like it's just a day of misses down there in the bot lane. One day in the mid lane. I believe he's a substitute, actually. So we have a substitute in the mid laner on this Kassadin. So that may also, impact the comms. Half the health off of no plans made. Up in the top lane. Has lost a lot of his health in there. Darius is a scary boy. I'm also surprised Darius has teleport. So I'm very surprised everybody that has teleport in this game has teleport, except for actually half of them. Kassadin and Ornn. Makes a lot of sense to me. Want to be TPing in. Aku in the mid lane is just kind of hanging out, looking for Sugar Life. Happy Sugar Life, I'm sorry. That's the Alpha Strike, and he was an Alpha, but here comes the roll from the Rammus the Flash, and the taunt is available. Looks like it's going to be first blood in favor of Aku. Nicely done on the gank there. Easily baited out that Alpha Strike from Happy Sugar Life. He tried to flash away, but it was matched by Aku straight away. Taunt in, and first blood in favor of the Armadillo. And that is definitely what you want to see here, folks. Is Rammus getting ahead on a full armor tank against a full physical damage team. Happy Sugar Life zooming his way. Excuse me, back into the bot lane. I mean, mid lane. One of those lanes. They're all the same. Bot lane's irrelevant anyway, so who knows where it is. Wande. Now, with a nice little bit of an edge for himself, I imagine he is just going to recall and get some health items for him. Maybe that catalyst, and then continue. But meanwhile, on the bot lane, we got a taunt come through. Double stun, actually. Chaos Fury running himself away. Gets ignited, has to use the flash. As the Haymaker comes out as well. Chaos Fury does survive Shen, standing toe-to-toe, but here comes Aku. The flash forward from Desert Rose is going to pick up the kill on the enemy. 80 carry, Grappler running for his life. Taunt comes through, teleport being channeled as well. It's going to be Kassadin joining the fight. Wande, can he pick up a kill for himself? A little bit late. Scout of the week, knocked back to Desert Rose, going to finally get hit by that taunt, though, from the Shen, and the Kassadin picks up a kill. That is not what you want to see if you are We Are Poggers. This Kassadin getting rolling. A nice play in the bot lane. It looked like it was We Are Poggers' favorite, but in the end, it turned out that it was all Toxic Nature there. A lot expended to kill Chaos Fury, and in the end, it was just a little bit too much. Unfortunately, for them, expending just a bit too much from the Syndra, died immediately to that Rammus when he joined his counter gank as well by Aku. Question in the chat: what division these teams are in? These teams are in the Zon group here in Style Esports Season 5, which I believe is the third group from the top. I have been wrong before, but I believe it is the third group. So somebody maybe can confirm that for me in the chat, but I believe it is group number 3. We got Shurima, then we got Ionia, and I think we have Zon, Piltover, Demacia, something else, the Freljord, the Void. I think I'm forgetting somebody, but that's okay. We can puzzle about groups later. Little lore, connection there with our groups here in Style Esports. It's always pretty fun to make sure you learn the lore out there. It's a pretty good time. You can, stun your friends with your vast knowledge of League of Legends lore sometime when you're in a bar or a library, perhaps. Although you can't do that much anymore, at least in the United States. A lot of bars and libraries are closed because we got a bit of a virus going around. So definitely be careful about that when you are out there. But that's probably why we're watching League of Legends right now, as Aku smites away at Skull Crab, as Kuroko is saying, "Hey, I wanted that," but unfortunately not able to procure that one for himself. Happy Sugar Life taking a lot of cues to the face, but he's not taking a lot of damage while he does it. So not a lot going on there. Not a lot going on across the map actually right now. Dragon is up, but nobody has deigned to take that one. Cloud Dragon, one of the better early dragons in my mind, because 10%, is more effective when the cooldowns overall are higher. So that could be a nice boon to somebody that gets it. Ultimate's very key in this game, actually. I would say Call of the Forge God, very, very important. Riftwalk being a little bit lower cooldown always helps out just a bit. And the Ash Arrow is the other one I wanted to mention. It does a lot of impact there for an ultimate ability. So Cloud Dragon could be important for whatever team wants to pick it up. Neither jungler has really focused anywhere, which I'm a little surprised to see. Kuroko has mostly been hard farming, which is something I'm very stunned to have witnessed in this game, as we might actually see Kuroko on his way to the top lane. Cat Dogger could be in a bit of trouble. Apprehend has already gone out, flashed himself away, gets a little bit of movement speed from the Nimbus Cloak, and Call of the Forge God comes down, and no plans made. Picks the kill for himself there on the Ornn. Stood up a little bit too far for a little bit too long. When you do that, Graves is going to come ruin your day. One kill back there for the Ornn. Shouldn't make too much difference in the long run. Daria's still up some farm and still just a stronger champion in the early game. But, for now, it's going okay for no plans made. Looks like he was planning on winning his lane, as I also made a little joke about him in the pregame as well. He followed the stream. I said no plans made. Oh, it's good he doesn't have a plan made, because we're going to be here all night. So I hope you enjoyed that joke. We're moving right along from that, because it didn't sound as good the second time around, as most things do. Beauty fades. That's why it's beautiful. That's what Kindred says. So that's another lore fact that you can share with your friends at the aforementioned bar and or library. Perhaps there's a bar in the library, although that seems like it would lead to some problems reading. Anyway, I don't drink. I don't know what alcohol is. So definitely do not want to drink before you go on air, folks. That's very important. Or when you drive. Don't drink and drive. Also, a critical step in the process is Aku grabs the blue buff as well. Kuroko has been approximately 3 seconds behind him multiple times. Apprehend goes wide in the top lane. No plans made. Really starting to put down the punishment. I said that kill wasn't going to matter. He's trying to prove me wrong right now. Cat Dogger hits level 8. Misses his Q again. No plans made. Could be on the chase here. Bop in the face with the brittle proc, not quite. Didn't really mention the dragon went over, actually, in favor of Toxic Nature, so that's pretty exciting. A little bit of cooldown reduction for them on those Ash Arrows. Next dragon going to be Infernal, up in about 3.5 minutes. A little surprised we haven't seen more action in the bot lane. I was all hyping it up in Champ Select, and then we had one big gank, and then nobody wants to fight. So that makes me a little bit sad. Nobody really wants to fight in this game, which also makes me sad, as somebody who does not have a color caster to hand this over to talk. I'm just stuck providing jokes for your viewing pleasure. So I hope you're not having that bad of a time. Try to be entertaining at least a little bit here. The poke getting a bit stronger in the mid lane right now, as Wande is starting to put that down on a Happy Sugar Life, who could go for the all-in at any time. But we'll have to see how that works out for him there. Graves back in the top lane. I don't really know why Kuroko is focusing on this Ornn so much. That seems a bit puzzling to me. Also, if people have questions, you can drop them in the chat, since I am reading the chat today. Basically, my My entertainment is the chat. My colorcaster is the chat. Currently my entertainment, though, is this fight in the top lane as CatDogger could be in some trouble once again. Gets another heal, though, from the Q, but it's not going to be enough. No Plans Made picks up that kill. Aku's saying, wait, hold on just a minute. I got to back myself out of the situation. Tremors is down, though. No Plans Made could be in some trouble. Smite onto him. Not going to find the kill there. Kuroko not able to help out his top laner in any sense, but another successful gank at the top lane. CatDogger goes down. I do still just have to wonder, though, if that really is worth it for this team. Sure, you're getting your Ornn ahead. That's very exciting stuff. But does it really matter if the Ornn is ahead? The Darius still going to likely be useful in the late game. The Ornn is going to be a little tankier. Maybe you're going to, take a little bit longer for the Ashe to take you down. But realistically, it's the Yi, it's the Syndra that you actually want ahead in this game. And I'm not entirely sure that Kuroko is focusing correctly on the bot side, to be perfectly honest with you. Because you want to focus on the bot side. You don't have a dragon. Your Yi is 0-1. Your Syndra's 1-1. This is not, and your Ornn's 2-0. This is not the score lines that you want. If you could move the score lines around, you'd be in a much better place. If this Yi doesn't get rolling, this Yi is going to be straight up useless in the late game. Cassidy will one-shot him. He's going to get hit by an arrow. Or more realistically, he's just going to go in, and nothing's going to really come of that. So we'll have to wait and see. Looks like we're going to have a fight around this Herald. Multiple members converging on this. No Plans Made doesn't get towards that wall. Stand United on the back. No Plans Made does finally go down. CatDogger picks up that kill. Darius now back on the board. Herald going to go over in favor of Toxic Nature. At the same time, extending their gold lead just a little bit, over 1K, 1.5K, I would say right now. Wande, a nice stab in the mid lane as he's going actually in with that Rift Walk. Happy Sugar Life 99 taking a lot of punishment right now from this Castellan, who is only going to get stronger. Rod of Age has already completed that early kill lead. Very, very helpful for him. Herald dropped in the mid lane as well for Toxic Nature. They are on to this one. Going to be going down. I would imagine they'll be able to kill the whole turret here with Shelly the Herald. You do want to drop that one a little bit later, but it wasn't that bad. At the end of the day, wave clear in the top from No Plans Made. Gets apprehended out of it, though. Takes some damage, but CatDogger a little bit low on the mana resource. He's going to be getting himself out of that one. Chaos Fury now, meanwhile, in the bot lane, able to get out with the Summoner Heal Teleport coming in. That's going to be Wanda. The Cassidy is joining, gets hit by the 1Q, but this could be the clean-up situation right now for Toxic Nature. There's the fight. Panugaku, I should say, going in, picking up the first kill for himself. Riftwalk out of that Haymaker. Auto attacks being tossed in there by Chaos Fury. Nice kiting around this one. Grappler is going to have to grapple with death, I should say, at the end of that situation. Chaos Fury picks up that kill. A nice even distribution. That's what you want to see in League of Legends and on your peanut butter and jelly sandwich, folks. Even distribution is critical to success, and it is Toxic Nature that are succeeding in this situation. They're up 3,500 gold. They've got the first Herald, they've gotten the first tower, and they're going to get their second dragon of the game, the Infernal. We'll see if it's going to be an Ocean or if it's going to be a Mountain Soul, but they are well on their way for that one right now. Doing it very well for themselves. 2,500 gold lead is nothing to scoff at 13 minutes into the game. Apprehend out of the dash forward there by this Ornn, but unfortunately CatDogger does not have any mana left. Call the Forge God flashed away from by CatDogger. Has to use that Summoner spell to get out of dodge. Likely going to stay in lane until he has the teleport available. Then he will go spend his 1,700 gold that he has in his pocket right now. But Happy Sugar Life is going to try to keep him from spending his gold under the tower. They're going to give the kill over to the E like they should. Very nicely done. Happy Sugar Life 99 able to secure that kill for himself. Pushing the top, then with the Highlander attack speed is coming through as well. Getting some more plates. The plates will die in 10 seconds, but I think it's going to be a little bit too late for them to take down that tower. Cassidy pushing in the mid lane as well. So a little bit of a damper there, but the Ornn, once again, the focus target. Everybody else on the side of Toxic Nature doing pretty well for themselves. So I think something to question still as we take a little bit of a breather, I think, right now. Look at the item builds we have coming through. We have a Rod of Ages, almost the Archangel's Staff as well from Wande in the mid lane. This Cassidy is well on his way to becoming very scary. And Chaos Fury on the Ashe, Blade of the Ruin King completed, and the GLP on the side of the Syndra. I'm a little surprised to see Electrocute and then the GLP build from the Syndra. Usually if you're going to go Electrocute, you want to just go Ludens into some damage. And my brain just turned off. Usually you want to go Luden's Echo in more damage if you're going to go Electrocute, and you want to go for that Glacial Augment build if you're going to go for the Super Soaker, the GLP, the Twin Shadows, those things. I'm not entirely sure if that's really true, but that to me seems, excuse me, like it should be accurate. So that's what I'm rolling with as Panugaku and Chaos Fury. Now a little bit on the back foot, even with that completed Blade of the Ruin King, that Super Soaker, the Hextech GLP, although tell a lie, Enchanted Crystal Arrow in the bot lane. Desert Rose Tries to go for this guy to the weak, but he is taken down immediately. The Unleashed Power not going to be enough to take down this Ashe, as the support is now just left to run for his life flash himself away, but the Kassadin has arrived on the scene. Wanda going to need just one more Rift Walk, isn't quite available. Rammus, though, Aku backs himself away as well. I think they probably could have gone for the dive, but the one kill is nice. Chaos Fury has done very well this game to keep himself alive in sticky situations. Happy Sugar Life is on the scene as well, though, so a little bit risky. You don't want the E to pop off. Looks like it's just going to be the disengage called in by Toxic Nature right now. Clearing out some wards in the river and forcing their opponents back, as in the top lane, this kill deficit that CatDogger finds himself in has finally become enough to actually start losing the 1v1 very, very hard right now. No plans made. Definitely in complete control of the lane for himself. Sunfire Cape completed. It's going to be enough tankiness. He might go for the 1v1, actually. CatDogger apprehend out of the Call of the Forge. Got it very nicely done there by the top laner for Toxic Nature. Trying to go back in for the trade. He has the Sandy Knight on his back as well. Could go for the tower dive, but he decides not to. Actually, they will. Panagaku misses the taunt. CatDogger has taken aggro. Goes for the Noxian Guillotine. Doesn't find a kill in the end. Panagaku does the triumph. Not enough to find the healing, though. Panagaku, the only member left alive in the top lane, as both of those laners do trade their lives, but the Shen left to push the tower there a little bit for himself. Kuroko there at the same time to provide a little bit of defense for that tower. As the Shen recalling the bush, he might actually get stopped here. We'll find out if that is going to be successful. Running himself away. He does have the Shadow Dash available to get himself out. Meanwhile, taunt tower in the bot lane, I am attempting to say, goes down in favor of We Are Poggers. So getting a little bit back, Panagaku maybe going for the fight actually, as Rammus has arrived on the scene. Kuroko getting himself away. Is the taunt going to be in range from Aku? Looks like it will not. He's forced to disengage in his various armadillo stance. And teleport now coming in. That's going to be CatDogger, just trying to get back to the lane for himself. Trinity Force is completed, so he should be in a pretty good situation here for himself. They might actually go for a little bit more of a dive. Kuroko jumps through the minion wave to make sure he's not going to get hit by that Rammus, as Aku and CatDogger are going to have to extricate themselves from this situation. I do feel Happy Sugar Life 99 is here. Highlander has been procced. CatDogger taking a lot of damage. This could be one kill for the E. This could be multiple kills for the E, but he gets taunted up immediately. He goes down almost immediately, but he trades the kill for the Darius. Aku now getting himself out, and in the end, it's a 1-for-1. The E picks up a kill, but he trades his life for the Darius. Not the worst trade at the end of the day. His Rage Blade, Winsu's Rage Blade, is completed. So that's pretty exciting for him. We'll be doing a little bit more damage closer and closer, I should say, to his full carry potentially, where he's at 2.5, 3 items, can go completely ham. On the other side, though, this Kassadin is scaling. 9 stacks in the Rod of Ages, 260 stacks on the Archangel's Staff. That is a point that you definitely do not want to be at if you are the other side. You don't want to see the Kassadin across the board at 17 minutes that strong. He is, he could be going places, folks. As Aku gets himself away with a little bit of a ball. Call the Forge comes out. Can he dodge it? No, he cannot. Shut down in favor of no plans made. This Ornn, I said earlier he wouldn't be able to carry the game. I still don't think he can, but he's definitely given me a run for my money on this one. Doing a lot of work for himself so far. 4-2 on this Ornn as we cross the 18-minute mark. Dragon is up in 10 seconds, and while it spawns, we're going to step aside for about 5 seconds while I enjoy a nice sip of my water. And we're back from that enjoyable sip of H2O. Always be sure to hydrate yourselves. We got a bit of a bush bait going on right now. 3 members there. The flash over the wall, as well as the Chanting Crystal Arrow. Desert Rose is gone before he even knows what hit him. Grappler goes down as well. It's a double kill for CatDogger. That Trinity Force really starting to turn him online. Teleport coming through. I'm not entirely sure this is super wise for no plans made, but he is very taunted up. I should say very tanky, rather, was what we were going for. But Happy Sugar Life has already died while I try to figure out what words are. A double kill now for Wante there on the Kassadin as a huge fight win in favor of Toxic Nature. They're going to be picking up their 3rd dragon of the game. Wande a double kill for the Darius as well. Those are the members that you want to be strong. This Kassadin is quite scary. Standing United on his back. The flash as well. They're going to be going for the tower dive. The taunt under there from Panagaku. It's going to be another kill in favor of Toxic Nature. Wande gets himself away over the wall as well with the Rift Walk. Panagaku, a wonderful ultimate. 3rd dragon goes over. This is complete control right now for Toxic Nature. As I got to calm myself down after that fight. It was pretty thrilling, as the kills have actually been distributed very, very nicely right now on the Toxic Nature side. They have 3 kills on everybody except for Chaos Fury, who unfortunately only has 2. But hey, AD carry is an irrelevant role, so it makes a lot of sense that they would give the kills to everybody except that AD carry member of their squad. The ultimates have been very, very clutch, though, from this Ashe thus far in the game. The Cloud Dragon helping that out immensely, I would say. As Chaos Fury, got to be a little careful you don't just get one shot by Master Yi. who has a tendency to do that, but it is a 2-item Ash, and he has a support nearby, so should be enough to keep himself alive through any situation. No Highlander on the Yi at any rate. Cat Dogger in the top lane. Trinity Force completed. Got those couple of kills, so he's a little bit stronger than he used to be. Kuroko finally gets a buff of his own. So that's definitely a check mark for the Graves right now. Been having things stolen from him all game. He's saying that's robbery. But sometimes that's just how it works out for you, as the Baron has been randomly started up at 20 minutes. Full vision control, though, for Toxic Nature. I actually like this play a lot. There's not a lot of risk here. You know multiple members are on the bot side for We Are Poggers, and if somebody comes to stop you, you just peel off it. No harm, no foul, but hey, nobody came to check it, and it's going to be a free Baron. Right over to Toxic Nature. That was a very, very smart macro call. I would say so far they look like the much stronger macro team. They've had a couple of micro mistakes, getting caught out a little bit, as Wande actually might be right now, though he does have a lot of Rift Walks available, and he has a lot of distance to cover. Panigaku has the stand united if it is needed, but it looks like at the end of the day it will not. And the push in the mid lane is coming through. Chaos Fury takes down the one tower in the blink of an eye. Granted, it was at about 5% HP. They're going to rotate up to the top lane in order to secure the top tower as well. I also want to thank the Style Esports community, as we just hit 900 followers. Very excited to see that. Thank you all so much for the support of the stream, even when it is just a solo cast, when one of the casters is gone past 30 minutes, technical issues, and it's literally just me making jokes the whole time. So we have a little bit of a stopwatch go down. That's not going to be reactivated, though, by no plans made. Happy Sugar Life is trying to do what he can. Noxine Guillotine goes across as well. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow. The Yi is already gone. Cat Dogger now on a killing spree on the Darius, redeeming himself from earlier on in the game, tanking the tower just to show everybody who is boss. No plans made, could be in a bit of trouble. Aku diving the tower right now. Tremors is on the flash, the taunt as well. This is going to be the full tower dive coming through. Cat Dogger now on a rampage. Kuroko trying to get himself away, but he is going to get jumped on again by this Armadillo. However, the shutdown did come through in the back. Panigaku did find himself going down. Aku tanking up for his teammate. That's going to be enough to secure the kill. It's almost the map-wide ace. It's the ace if you don't count the two people in the bot lane just chilling with Kassadin. Kassadin also seems to be kind of winning this 1 versus 2 right now, which is a little bit concerning. Teleport now back to the top lane for Wande on this Kassadin. They are looking for another inhibitor. Actually, scratch that. It is the first inhibitor for them in this game, but nonetheless, they do have their sights set on it, and they will be securing it. Kassadin went down to the bot lane, actually. Kassadin did not teleport. That was Darius. Apologize for that, but the inhibitor goes down in favor of Toxic Nature. Kassadin is still pushing in the bot. A lot of gold in his pocket, 2,300, so that's going to be the Lichbane whenever he goes back to base to secure that one, but he is doing so much damage to this tower. Level 15 as well. This Kassadin only going to get stronger too, and that is the scary point right now for We Are Poggers. They basically look like they don't have a chance in this game, and that's a little worrying because there's not a lot to do right now except for the Yi popping off, and the Yi built a QSS second, which I think is arguably necessary, but doesn't really help you very much if you're trying to carry the game. You need to be at 3 damage items probably to actually carry the game, to be an alpha more than you're not an alpha. And I think right now he's just not set up to do it. It's probably going to have to be an Elder Dragon steal if they want to actually come back in the game We Are Poggers, but I really just don't think they're going to be able to do so. I think this game is pretty much over. This push in the mid lane, they can fall back for the Dragon Soul in 45 seconds if they wish as well. The world is pretty much the oyster right now of Team Toxic Nature, looking for this win here in the Zon group. It is, of course, a best of 3, so this is only the first game, but I think right now it's looking like they look like they're a much more dominant team. It's not even as much that they're just ahead. They look much more dominant in terms of macro as well. No plans made, going to be in some trouble now as well. Likely going down. Call Forward God not going to do a whole lot. Meanwhile, on the other side of this fight, they are trying to get the kill onto the support, but it is just that. They've only killed the support. He trying to go off, but it might not make any difference. He's killed 2 in the backline. Noxine Guillotine, the blood is onto him. Wande now on the chase. Level 15 still on the Kassadin. Is he going to have the movement speed? Happy Sugar Life going to finally get run down by the Armadillo, and surely that's going to be the end of the game. The teleport into the base. The ace came through. The bot lane did have to die, but at the end of that, it does not make any difference if your bot lane dies basically ever in League of Legends, but at least in this last team fight, 5 for 2 in that, they're on to the second Nexus tower, and it's going to be Toxic Nature taking game number 1 in this somewhat delayed series up against We Are Poggers. Very well played by them, I would say. They played around their win conditions in the early game. They let the Darius fall behind. The Kassadin scaling up, got a couple of kills early. Nice teleports by him. Overall, a nice game by Toxic Nature. I think for We Are Poggers, they just need to play around their win conditions just a little bit more. I don't think it was an awful plan. It just didn't really end up working out. I think you want to be trying to get the Yi ahead. And unfortunately, he has to build the QSS too. That slows his build down a lot. And And basically they were handicapped. He was not very useful. The full AD team also didn't help a lot, I think. So a little bit back to the drawing board for We Are Poggers. Toxic Nature, they look like the superior team right now, but it is a best of 3. Toxic Nature has not secured the series yet. We Are Poggers could be trying to come back in this one. We're going to step aside for a couple minutes as we prepare for game number 2, but we will return shortly with continuation of this series. Welcome back, everybody. We're into the draft that was already drafted by Toxic Fane, and we are Poggers in the Zon group today. It's going to be a Malphite in the top lane up against Gnar. They did the pro draft before they invited me to the lobby. I guess that's what happens when you are solo casting. You get no respect, as we apparently also have a brand jungle. So this game is really just cooking with gas, I'd say, at this point. Potentially cooking with fire, actually. Should have been the joke. Carl, I apologize to everybody out there for jokes. As I also would just like to reiterate that I would make you a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, Rosada, if you are still interested, because that was that last game. I realized it was brought to my attention. I did not answer the questions that were in the chat in the last game, so I apologize for that. But you can continue to drop questions in the chat, folks. If you do want, I'll probably answer them, or maybe not. But it looks like we got a very tanky team already from We Are Poggers, trying to live up to the standard of the previous game. But I think so far my attention is completely drawn to this brand jungle, which I really don't understand. I also don't really know what's going on with that. So I guess we're going to find out. Maybe they're just switching Panugaku and Aku. I mean, their names they're not. It's actually brand jungle. It is an unironic brand jungle. Kai'Sa Shen in the bot lane that Shen support has continued its job on the blue side support position. Would I play brand jungle in my solo queue game? Why? Not of my own accord. No, probably not. Honestly, that sounds pretty bad, to be real frank with you. On the other hand, the compositions right now, they look pretty bad for Toxic Nature in my mind. I just don't know what brand jungle is going to do. Maybe it's like Predator brand jungle. I think the Veigar and the Jhin are good. Jhin Leona is a pretty good lane up against Kai'Sa Shen. I think Jhin could run into a little bit of trouble if he gets taunted by the Shen. There's a lot of dive targets. There's a lot of tankiness on this side of We Are Poggers right now, which could be a problem. Excuse me, going into this game. Malphite, Galio, Shen, and Graves all can gain a lot of armor. There's also a lot of magic damage right now. Graves is really the only fully physical damage dealer. Not entirely sure about how that's going to work out. There is not really a tank on the side of Toxic Nature. Panugaku, sure, Leona's tanky, but it is the support position, so it's not really something that you want to pull out as a full tank, just because you don't have the income to really get to 4 or 5 full tank items. We'll find out how that works for them there. I like the Veigar pick, or the Veigar, I should say. I think Jin's a good champion overall. Might have some trouble with the tanks. He does not do that well into bruiser tanks. Potentially, if he gets far ahead, it doesn't really matter. I think he'll do well against Kai'Sa once he gets rapid fire cannon. So we'll see how that works out. I think the brand jungle is really what this game is going to hinge on. If Aku ends up going 0-5, in the first 10 minutes, that's going to be a real problem. But if he's able to pop off, great. Or Brand can do a lot of damage in the support position. This is going to be a much more farmed Brand. This will be a full AP Brand, I imagine. So not a lot of frontline, not a lot of engage for the side of Toxic Nature right now, but they do have a lot of damage in their kit up against the tanky side of We Are Poggers, who I think are just looking to scale into that mid game. They have a Galio, they have a Malphite, they have Kai'Sa. All these champs spike very, very well in the mid game. So look forward to that. Absolutely. Dragon control, definitely not going to be in favor of Toxic Nature right now. They have terrible dragon. They have very bad objective taking overall. Brand in the jungle position does not take objectives very quickly. I'm imagining Jhin does objectives very slowly. So objective damage is not going to be very strong for Toxic Nature, which is interesting considering the strong objective focus we saw from them in the last game. So I think they will have to weather the early game storm, try to get into that later game stage where they have so much damage, so much pick potential. And I think that the side of We Are Poggers are looking to get into that mid game and then really snowball from there. So we'll see how that cookie crumbles when we get onto the Rift. We're going to step aside while we load onto that game. We'll be right back with game number 2. Welcome onto the Rift, everybody. We are locked and loaded for game number 2, and we are Poggers and Toxic Nature. I am the one and only, literally, Jarl Carl, casting alongside myself today. So it's going to be just me once again for game number 2. Here to remind everyone to stay hydrated out there. Very important, as we have 2 5-man invades on opposite sides of the map. So nobody going to find anybody anytime soon right now. So this could have been so exciting, too. We could have had a 5-man versus 5-man. My brain turned off again. 5-man versus 5-man in the early game. And instead, we're going to have a bunch of people sitting in bushes for a while. So that's a little sad. We may see Gnar walk into this bush, which is no longer going to have anyone in it. Well, this has just been a whole waste of time. These teams are... Oh, maybe not. No plans made. Living up to the name right now. Just kind of wandering in. Ward goes down. CatDogger is trying to die right now. He does not know how much he's playing with Fate. Throw the Q. Throw a Q. Puts the ward down. No, don't run at him. Run away from him. Throws out the boomerang. Wande gets a little bit of a stack there. That's 1 AP. That could be big. And likely won't. CatDogger once again trying to die. No, don't go that way. He's going to have to flash. He's going to definitely have to flash. Getting jumped on towards. Yeah, he does have to flash himself away. Not a great start for CatDogger here in this game on the Gnar. Happy Sugar Life 99 on the Galio. Should be a pretty safe lane for him. Veigar does not really have the damage this early on in the game to blow up a Galio, but the auto attacks coming through in the range versus melee could be a little bit oppressive there, as we see a couple of those rolling in there from Wande. So nice little start for the Veigar. This is the Q there, unfortunately, but not a lot to come of this early game just yet, as Gnar did lose that flash. Wande is going to have to flash as well, flashing away from the Graves Q. Level 2 versus level 1 in the mid lane means that summoner is down now for the star on the Cassidy. In the last game on the Veigar right now, trying to be the little magician, as actually the little magician, I think, was Martin Van Buren, one of the American president's nicknames. So I believe he was called the little magician. One of the presidents was called the little magician, so you can look that up if you want. And again, impress your friends with that in the bar or the library bar, as all of the Owl Girl told us in the last game could be a place. Sounds like a good place once the quarantine is over. I myself should like to visit one. But back to the League of Legends game. Brand, I almost said roaming from the bot lane, but he is in fact the jungler, out farming his opponent. I don't really know what this is. We're going to see what happens in the mid lane. Aku coming in for the gank, going to get knocked up. Could be going down straight away. The flash away, not going to get anything done for him there. Stun goes down though, on to Kuroko, but not going to be falling anytime soon. Wande throwing back some auto attacks. Event Horizon not quite going to find anything there. Happy Sugar Life walks away. The Brand dying immediately in the early game. That is what I did not want to see. I said 0-5 by 10 minutes means lost game. We'll see if that trend continues. But right now it is We Are Poggers with the upper hand in this one, pushing in a lot of the lanes as well. Kuroko has only done 2 camps, though. Somehow, so far, has only done some buffs. But it's working out for him here at the end. Grabs his blue buffs. So he's up to 3 camps. They're all buffs so far. CatDogger under the tower gets flashed on. Auto attack through. Gnar just dies instantly. Wande, meanwhile, in the mid lane, Knight is down onto Warzim. Happy Sugar Free Life going to be traded back, though, with the Ignite from Wande, as Aku is now here. Stun lands onto Kuroko. W at the same time. Dark Harvest proc in favor of this Brand, but no kill going to come through from that. A nice little trade there, as meanwhile, the top lane, or as we saw previously in the top lane, CatDogger just got solo killed. Wasn't quite able to get Mega before that flash auto tech with the Eon came through from no plans made. That was very well done, as it was Martin Van Buren. I appreciate that fact check, Reseda, as we are going to have to move on to this fight. Zenith Blade goes well wide, as does the Deadly Flourish, as Chaos Fury and Panagaku whiff everything in the bot lane, and everybody gets them away, as this stream has now turned into President's Trivia, the American version. So if you're not from America, and really, honestly, even if you are from America, I apologize. So we're going to try to move on from that. Wande farming up in the mid lane. We can get a little bit of a stack check in right now, as he has 30 stacks, 30 extra AP so far. Actually getting himself away from a bit of a taunt right now. Stun goes down from the Event Horizon. A little bit of science onto Kuroko. That's a lot of damage traded back onto the Graves, as CatDogger also pushing into the top lane. Looks like this might be a bit of an AP Malphite as well. Has the book, the Amplifying Tome, actually the Fiendish Codex, I should say, in his pocket right now. This could be a full AP Malphite, which I think would be quite scary. Taunt goes down in the bot lane. A lot of damage onto Chaos Fury. That's the ultimate, or the passive, I should say, proc from Desert Rose. You can hit with the Deadly Flourish and stop. Grappler takes a lot of damage. Stun comes through from the Leona. Engage does continue to flash from Chaos Fury into the backline onto Grappler, trying to pick up the kill onto the enemy support before he goes down. They will be traded back, though. The support picks up the kill. It's the Leona likely going to be falling here at the end of the situation. Teleport coming in. It's going to be the Galio who is here now. Panugaku, no chance to get out of this situation, I don't feel, but his jungler did secure the Dragon, Infernal Dragon, in favor of Toxic Natures. The E in the wall is failed there. Brand has arrived on the scene. Aku very, very low, though. Not a lot going to come of that one. Everybody backs themselves away. 1-for-1 in the bot lane. Kill in favor, though, of Panugaku and Desert Rose, so probably favoring the We Are Poggers bot lane just a little bit. Dragon, though, went over in favor of Toxic Nature, probably evening up that score. Just a shade, about 1,000 gold now in the deficit column for Toxic Nature, trying to make this a clean 2-0 series. We Are Poggers attempting to stretch my hydration and voice and series to a game number 3 and go the full distance on this one. No plans made. Ultimate available, though, so Unstoppable Force could be very, very scary. Wande, though, is going to need to look out for bigger problems as the Galio has engaged on him. No chance to get out of that situation. Kuroko now on a killing spree on this Graves, looking much stronger than he did in game number 1. Very well done there for him. Unstoppable Force now in the top lane. CatDogger gets himself away. Can he survive this situation? Yes, he can. Unstoppable Force going to be down for quite a long time now. That's not really what you want to see. That first ultimate from champions that are very ultimate reliant from, TF, Rise, Nocturne, Malphite. You always want to have a large impact. That one did not quite have such an impact. Wande, trying to farm some minions, is able to secure those 2 for himself. Aku on to sugar-free life right now. Happy sugar life. I don't know where I came up with sugar-free. It doesn't matter. He's dead. Who knows what his name is? Doesn't make any difference. He's in the death chamber for the next 12 seconds. That kill going over. Very well done. Nice little pick found by Toxic Nature. They're trying to stay in the game, but so far they just don't look like they're quite able to do so. This Brand jungle, a very strange pick, I do feel, for them here. But potentially could have a lot of work getting done in late game. Once it gets to those Runic Echoes, that item does a lot of damage, as seen on, Nidalee's in the jungle. A lot of ability power, empowering those abilities, exactly as the item, as the statistic does say. Wande in the mid lane, just pushing it in. Galio doesn't really 1v1 have any way that he can deal with the Veigar, but with Kuroko there, it's relatively easy to engage on to that Yordle. So he's got to be a little bit careful. Wande does track the jungler, something that he would want to do as well, try to get Aku on. Aku also just doesn't have that much priority to go wandering in by himself. If Kuroko finds this Graves, all he has to do, if he dodges the stun, that should be a pretty free kill. So that's a little bit worrying. For this Brand, who is just, pretty far behind the Graves right now, about 600 gold behind, as we really haven't seen a lot of ganks this game other than Kuroko's ganks in the mid lane. Aku has been trying to run around a little bit, but a lot of this has been focused in the mid lane. The bot lanes have been pretty isolated. The Kai'Sa went for a BF sword first, actually, which surprises me just a shade. I think we're going to see a fight. Yeah, that's the taunt and the flash coming through, as well as the killer instant Chaos Fury doesn't stand a chance to survive that situation. Panugaku just trying to get himself away. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Event Horizon is down. Happy Sugar Life trying to get himself out of the situation, but he is very, very low. That is the Primordial Burst, but he does have the Shen ult on his back. He's not going to be going down. Keeps himself like Kuroko is now here, as well as the taunt comes across. Aku is just going to get stunned out of this situation, taken down. Kuroko picks up his 4th kill of the game. Graves, very, very scary. I think after that Stand United came through, you just had to back away if you were Toxic Nature. Realize you weren't going to get the kill. Aku not playing with that much of a brain, I don't feel, in this game, as CatDogger in the top lane flashes himself away, but it doesn't make any difference. Goes down. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Wande has to flash out of Kuroko's engagement there, as everything is just turning up in favor of We Are Poggers right now, looking like a completely different team than we saw in game number 1. The Kai'Sa's strong, the Malphite's strong, the Graves is strong as well. Right now, Toxic Nature just not helping us out with a short series on the voice. But it is a pretty exciting game, which is what you always do want to see. Kuroko trying to carry his team. So far, it's going to be just the 2 marksmen really that have the kills. This could get scary as the game goes later, if the Veigar are able to scale up sufficiently. But the real question is, will they have the time to do so? It's a minute until the Dragon comes up. We'll see if there's any contest on that. That is something that Toxic Nature would want to start trying to get rolling if they are going to actually come back and win this game, would be that Dragon Soul. Another little hydration break there, folks. Always be sure to do that. Reseda's right. I am the hydration bot that you see in Discord servers and see on Twitch servers or on Twitch streams. I just I just promote it live. I don't even need a bot. I guess you could say that makes me the bot. I'm not really sure how I would feel about that one exactly, but figure that one out later. Items have come through for Wande. A lot of Aegis, not quite stacked up yet, of course, but he did complete that. Runic Echoes on Aku as well. So the damage is starting to come through a little bit for them, but it is going to be a little while longer before they're able to actually, take over games. Right. They're not going to have the damage that they need right now. Skill shots go wide completely in the bot lane as Toxic Nature just are kind of falling apart, honestly, in this game. On the mid lane, Wande going to get flashed on by Happy Sugar Life, and Kuroko is here. The camp is real. Wande doesn't really stand a chance to get out of this one. Collateral damage secures the kill. Unstoppable on the Graves. That is that one kill. They can probably transition that into this dragon as well. Aku in the area. Chaos Fury and Hanugaku are here as well. Aku playing with fire. Stun does land. There's the Deadly Flourish. A little bit of a root. Hero's Entrance is called in, but Aku could be also trouble. Killer's Instinct goes in. One more auto attack. Desert Rose, very nicely played. Flashed himself back out with that last auto attack. It's going to be the dragon now picked up for We Are Poggers. Very much in control of this game right now. 3,500 gold in the lead for themselves. And is pretty much the same lead that we saw in the last game, just on the other side of the table right now. And I think a lot of this just comes down to the draft and the camp in the mid lane. Aku just doesn't have the same presence that a Graves does. I don't know why there's a Brand in the jungle. It seems very, very strange to me. But that is the selection that came through for them. I don't really know what's going on with that one. But, maybe in the late game, it could have a lot of impact. But thus far, it has done basically nothing. You're really just preying on the ultimate in the late game. Also, this Gnar on the top lane has been getting styled on. Unstoppable Force comes across. No plans made on a killing spree. Meanwhile, the bot lane Solar Flare down onto Desert Rose. He's going to get shut down in return. That 600 gold in favor of the Jhin. That could be a little bit meaningful. Grappling on, getting himself away. Teleport been called in. That's going to be Happy Sugar Life arriving on the Galio. Double taunt goes down. Is the Shadow Dash available as well? Chaos Fury trying to kite himself out, but he's not going to be able to survive this situation. Hanugaku now has to just run for the hills on the Leona. The invade is coming in from Aku, but it's probably not worth it, you'd have to feel, at the end of the day. Both AD carries go down. Kuroko now onto Wande. Once again, we've seen this movie before. Likely know how it ends, but I think we're going to get a bit of a different ending on this one as Kuroko is actually going to continue the chase. Teleport comes in, but it's just going to be too late. Wande's got to get himself out of dodge. He loses some movement speed from that shard from the Malphite as Kuroko able to pick up the kill, dominating now, but he could get shut down. That's the Stand United on his back. Cat Dogger throwing in the auto attacks. One more over the wall, not going to be enough. It's blocked by that W from the Shen. Beautifully played by that Grappler, going to get stunned up though. The Brand passives are doing a lot of damage. Cat Dogger maybe looking to go for a bit of a re-engage, but it's a 2-level deficit against no plans made. Grappler here to provide a bit of support as well. Kuroko once again backing out of that situation, stays alive. Shutdown still on his head. That's going to be 900 gold at the least onto anybody who picks up that kill for himself. Is Aku on some vision right now. I think he's going to be okay. Shouldn't be going down, but this Shen has been in a pretty bad spot this entire game. I'm not totally sold on it thus far, but that's okay. We'll see how it works out as we get on into the later stages of the game. One dragon apiece. It will be an Ocean Soul this game, which is always a very, very coveted soul. Of course, sorry about that. As turret plating almost down. It's been pretty even across the map. A couple of plates taken on each side, but no major pushing really has been done. No heralds taken yet either, which really has facilitated that. Still on the map. I imagine somebody will go for it eventually, but just hasn't been that high a priority. Both AD carries have finished their first item, as have all of the laners, except for Cat Dogger, who's just a little bit farther behind. But it is the Storm Razor and the Essence Reaver completed for the Jhin and the Kai'Sa, respectively. I don't love the Essence Reaver start by Kai'Sa. I don't think that build is really, honestly, that good. But perhaps they feel otherwise. Cat Dogger going very aggressive against no plans made. I'm not really sure why. I think just going to die where he stands under the tower, going down. No plans made. There's the kill as Cat Dogger just kind of died for no reason. I don't really know what the plan was on that one. Wande getting engaged on as well in the mid. Happy Sugar Life back and away, although could take a lot of damage from this Veigar. Does more, of course, when he is lower HP, the opponent, with that Primordial Burst, but not going to be enough to pick up the kill. Happy Sugar Life does survive back to half HP. Another Event Horizon comes down, though. This could be the full engage, actually, by Wande. If he's able to land a Q, has to get the Primordial Burst to come through. Yes, he does. That's a nice solo kill in the mid lane. The Veigar should survive as well. He does so. Very nicely done. One kill finally back in favor of Toxic Nature. They get themselves back on the board. Still down around 3,000 gold. A little bit less than that. Aku now joining in the bot lane for this fight. See if they're able to find anything out of the bush. If Desert Rose and Grappler walk themselves out or walk themselves up away from the turret, but it looks like right now they're staying pretty much stationary for the time being. Here's the bait. Oh, you got to go for the stun right now. Find the stun on the Shen. That's not the target that you do want. Teleports are being called in. Brand Ultimate does come out as well. The passive is down, but this looks like a terrible fight right now for Toxic Nature as Kuroko is here as well. Chaos Fury's already gone. Aku soon to follow as No Plans Made has arrived on the situation. Unstoppable Force just off of cooldown picks up the kill there as Gaku once again just has to run for the hills. I think the tower will be taken maybe in the top lane there by the Gnar in exchange with the Herald drop in the bot as well. A massive push right now in favor of We Are Poggers. That tower very likely going to be falling. Will be traded for the tower in the top end, but the dragon up in 20 seconds at the same time. And that should be picked up by We Are Poggers, consolidating their lead right now, up 4,500 gold, a little bit more than that. Gaku could be in some trouble as well. No Plans Made in the event horizon, but the Leona left out to dry. No flash available as well. Going to be going down very surely. There it is. Blue tower destroyed in the top. I think just a little bit too late for this team, as it looks like I would say we're headed to a game number 3. Realistically, this doesn't really look comebackable for Toxic Nature right now, which is a little bit unfortunate. If you are them, I don't know what's happened to this team. I don't know why we have a brand jungle. I don't know why the Gnar's been trying to fight the Malphite the entire time. It just seems very strange to me, but I guess it is what it is right now. I think the only lane that's had any success is the bot lane, but the skill shots have just been missing time and time again. Solar Flare's not landing, Zenith Blade's not landing, and that's not really a recipe that wins a lot of teams' games. So, you know, I think gonna have to go back to the drawing board once again for game number 3 if we do get there. 4,000 in gold in the lead right now for We Are Poggers. They look like a much stronger team. Every member, once again, is pretty strong as well, which does matter a lot. Of course, you don't want all your gold focused on one target. I guess maybe if somebody from Toxic Nature is able to secure both of these shutdowns, you could potentially get back in this game. But they're just so far behind right now. We'll see what the next couple of fights bring, but it has to be in one of these next couple of fights that they get back in it, or it's just going to be too little, too late for them. Just because you don't have any more time. They're going to be too far ahead. This Graves is already really strong. Aku onto him, finds the stun and the W, but Kuroko doesn't care. The damage is just too high. Wande also running away. Killer Instinct onto him. He's going to be going down very, very shortly, just out of position once again. Potentially not. The flash comes forward to follow that one up. Catdogger now just running himself away, but No Plans Made does way too much damage for him. W is a little bit short. No stun to find on that one. Chase, though, onto this Malphite. He does have Unstoppable Force. Does also have Flash, and his team is arriving. Hero's Entrance isn't quite available. There's the Gnar into the wall. Gets stunned up again by the Brand. But the fight does continue as well. Standing United was on his back. The Shen has arrived. That's the Unstoppable Force. Finds that one onto Gaku as the Jin is finally in this fight, but he doesn't do a whole lot of damage. No Plans Made. Running himself away back toward the alcove. Leona very low, taking a lot of damage from this guy. The flash and the auto attack with the passive is going to be enough. The taunt as well onto Jin. Flash himself away, gets some movement speed with that Nimbus Cloak back in for the knockup. That's going to be enough to secure the kill. No Plans Made is dominating. Catdogger has nothing to do but run for the hills, get himself out of that situation, as this game very, very clearly looks to be in the hands of We Are Poggers right now. They are dominating across the map. They're up 7,000 gold right now. An absolute huge lead at only 18 minutes into the game. Toxic Nature, they are going to need to come up with a miracle if they actually want to win this game. And while we think about that miracle, I'm going to take another hydration break. And I'm back, everybody, from that hydration break. Be sure to rest your vocal cords out there. If you do talk a lot, we'll help you out in the long run. Aku clearing out some camps for himself, as we've gone into a little bit of a lull state right now. But I would imagine it will not be too much longer until We Are Poggers are back on the push once again for something. I think at this point, honestly, No Plans Made probably can just point blank ult Chaos Fury and go for the Killer Instinct combo with Desert Rose, and that likely would be enough. But I'm not entirely sure about that. We'll find out as we go later on in the game. But I think that really can just be the full tower dive straight away. There's not a lot of peel to really come through. Sure, Gaku can throw out a Solar Flare, but if Desert Rose and No Plans Made are just going under the tower, that there's not a lot that will come to the aid of Chaos Fury if he's able to get hit by that Unstoppable Force. So I think that's really the key thing. And sure, you don't want to do it straight under the tower, but you can do it pretty much straight under the tower, I think would be enough. As Catdogger now going at it with Kuroko. Kuroko, of course, very, very fed. So I don't think the Snar is going to be winning this anytime soon, although he's doing a lot of damage, actually. Could get the shutdown, potentially. There is... Ooh, the ultimate goes a little bit wide as well. Galio teleports himself in. Collateral damage not quite available, not quite used, did not quite land. So we're trying to go with that one. The shutdown finally goes over in favor of Chaos Fury. That's a huge amount of gold. CatDogger jumping himself out of the situation, but the killer instinct comes through. Desert Rose starting to clear up this fight. 1 kill for him, 1 kill for Grappler. At the same time, Aku on the back trying to throw in a bit of fire, but it's not going to be enough. He is just extinguished almost immediately, having to walk back toward the mid lane. Tower goes down in the top lane. Tower is going to fall. Inhibitor Tower could fall straight away after that if they continue the push once they get another wave of minions, or they can back off to the Baron, or back off toward that third Ocean Dragon. The world is their oyster right now. Aku is here. Maybe going to try to stop a couple of recalls, but he's so weak. The flash over the wall. Oh my goodness, that was aggressive. Desert Rose maybe going to go down. I don't think so, though, as that turned out to be mostly just an int for him there. Pushing the bot lane from Wande gets a little bit stronger given that delay, but he's not going to be enough to take down this tower, I don't think. And basically nothing gained there for that flash. CatDogger maybe going to stop the recall of Desert Rose. I would not put it past Desert Rose to win this 1v1. Especially once the Killer Instinct comes back up. Yeah, this should be actually a winning fight right now. Oh, misses the Gnar. CatDogger misses every ability, and he is going to be going down. I think just a little bit on tilt right now. There's the Killer Instinct. It came back off cooldown, and you might as well use it. Desert Rose securing the kill there for himself, just adding insult to injury on CatDogger. That's pretty unfortunate. The Baron is on the cards right now. I think they can probably just go for it. There's nobody really to contest it. Their Baron is pretty quick. They do have that Kaisa with the passive. That will get a lot of work done. Of course. They could also do... Oh, they're going for the really gutsy call. They're going to go for the third dragon and the Baron at the same time. The 2-man Baron and the 1-man dragon. So that's odd. The ward went down, though, so the spot on the Baron is out. Kuroko going to be able to cleanly secure this. I do think he has 2-level lead. Shouldn't be able to get that stolen away. He does not. Kuroko, collateral damage doesn't quite get him out, but he's able to dash over the wall with quick draw as this Baron is still going on. Honestly, Toxic Nature, they saw it being done and didn't do anything about it. I'm a little bit surprised that we didn't see a contest. Not too sure why that happened, but in the end, Baron is going over in favor of We Are Poggers. The fight is going to continue as well. Killer Instinct over the wall. At the same time, Solar Flare onto that 80 carry, but it's only going to slow him down just for a little bit. Legendary now as CatDogger goes down. Panagaku going to fall straight away after that one as Wande takes a lot of damage from the upgraded Q. Bit of a disengage comes through from the side of We Are Poggers, getting themselves away with the Baron buff on all 5 members. This should just take one more push. Excuse me, I would imagine for them before they're actually able to secure the end of this game for themselves and send us to a game number 3. In this series, the 6-1 Kaisa and 8-0 Malphite. These are the champion scorelines that you do want to see. They have a lot of gold in their pocket, but I guess not going to go try and spend it. They are healing up the Ocean Dragon. Kaisa did go back, so that's nice for them. Get a little bit of health in their 80 carry, always very important. And the purchases. She got the Nashor's Tooth and a serrated Dirk for a little bit of lethality. Nice little Kaisa build that people have been going for a little bit more recently is that little bit of lethality. Dive on the tower is coming through. No plans made. Is looking for this, but no ultimate quite available. Happy Sugar Life taken very low. Could be going down. Kaisa finally has arrived on the scene. No plans made. Takes a lot of damage as well. Curtain Call comes out. He could be in a lot of trouble on this. Malphite is going to fall over the wall onto Wande. Is he able to kill the kill? Yes, he is. Just adding insult to injury. Rubbing salt in the wound on this one. 1 for 1. Traded out right now. One tower has fallen, though. It may look for a little bit more. Panagaku goes a little bit short with Solar Flare. I'm not sure this is the fight that they want to take. The counter engage is coming through now. Kuroko, more skills have been missed. Smokescreen goes down, does a lot of work for them. Baron buff minions are pushing in favor of We Are Poggers at the current moment. Sorry about that. Hit the mic stand. Desert Rose still chilling in the mid lane. He has a huge point of power for this team right now, as are all the members. Red buff stolen away. Grappler could be looking for the kill here. Taunt goes down. There's the hero's entrance as well. Desert Rose is here. Aku, he might have Zanya, but it's not going to buy him that much time. Taunted up and taken down. Desert Rose now on a rampage. Grappler backing himself for some fruit. And the push in the mid lane comes through. This game I don't think is going to take a whole lot longer, but we will see if any sort of a miracle fight can take place. Inhibitor Tower is now the one under fire. A little bit of an event horizon. Finds the stun onto Kuroko, but just for the time being, nothing more going to come of that one. Just a bit of a congregation right now in the mid lane. They have a lot of gold in their pocket. I'm surprised they haven't spent. We have Kuroko with 1,700, 900 on the Kaisa. I guess they don't really need to go spend that, but they're just kind of wandering around. They could also just wait for the dragon. That's a super safe bet, essentially, at this point. So a lot of things that can go right in favor of We Are Poggers right now. They basically it would be very hard for them, I think, at this point to throw the game. They're going to go for the fight, though. Panagaku has died immediately, as has Wande. A nice double kill at the start of the fight. Surely that's going to be curtains, though. Kuroko, maybe losing his mind just a bit, goes over the wall into the middle of the base. Stand United is on his back. Shen as well. Desert Rose picks up that kill. Unstoppable now. Kuroko has gone down. Aku picks up that kill. No plans made. Goes to the stopwatch under the tower, but he could be in a bit of trouble right now. Desert Rose as well could be the flash forward from Chaos Fury. The fourth shot goes down onto no plans made. That's not going to be a whole lot for them there. The dive comes through, continuing on to the base right now, as that is the clean ace. It's just Panagaku that is left alive, and surely nothing more can be done. The ace came through 3 versus 1, I should say. AD carry is still alive. Onto that first tower, trying to take it down to half HP. They're playing very conservatively, I would say. The Jhin is back alive, with the Veigar rather on that one. Leona goes in, going to go down very, very low. Desert Rose now dominating the kill on to Panagaku, but Nara's here as well. Desert Rose tries to go back in, just going to get blown up in the base. I do think actually still alive. Talk goes down onto the Nara, but he does heal with the Triumph. Can they take him down very, very low? Yes, they will. Wande now the only member left alive, but he is now joined by Aku. Both of these mages are alive right now. The support and the mid lane are the only members up for We Are Poggers, I should say, as Toxic Nature are fighting back in this one. That's the shutdown going over in favor of Jhin. 40 seconds away from the Dragon. Teleport actually in the mid lane from no plans made. Not entirely sure about that one. Tower does go down, however, and he should be able to get himself away and secure the Ocean Soul for his team. Aku now going for a bit of a sweep, but he could be in some trouble here. Could just get picked off by no plans made. Where's the ultimate coming through? There it is. Couple more auto attacks could be enough to seal the fate of this brand. Kuroko has arrived. Will he take the kill? Yes, he will. Finally securing that one. Wande backing himself off, going back to the base at the same time. Ocean Soul going to be collected in favor of We Are Poggers. Pretty exciting for them there. That should be enough to close out the game here relatively shortly, although the game is still continuing, which I find somewhat hard to believe given we have an 11,000 gold lead. I'm very surprised that we're not able to end the game on that last push, but at least they should be relatively close to winning any fight they take. I don't think that kind of a throw can really happen again. If they have this Ocean Soul, it'll be healing up a lot. They can move over to the Baron if they want as well. Pretty much no way to contest this kind of a Baron. See if they actually go for it. It's up in about 40 seconds, so they can either wait for it or just try to continue and go for the push. It looks like they are just going to wait for this Baron, so we should have a little bit of a lull before this objective comes up. Yeah, it looks like they're just kind of chilling. The Kaisa goes back, finishes the Rage Blade, and gets a blue trinket for herself. Whereas on the side of Toxic Nature, they're just kind of hanging out, trying to clear some minions in their base. They don't really have a lot to do, other than simply wait and see what happens with We Are Poggers. We Are Poggers completely in the driver's seat, of course. They will go take the Baron pretty much uncontested, and then probably run it down mid and look to end the game. Would be my assumption of the situation right now. I would be surprised if there's more than a couple minutes of this game left. They just have to grab the Baron and then run down any lane with the wave of minions. They should be winning any fight. They're up so much gold, 10,000 gold in the lead, a huge number. That's really when you know you're screwed, essentially. In League of Legends is when you're down more than 10,000 gold. Very, very hard to come back from that. Save maybe some miracle Elder Dragon fight, curtain call, just a token gesture to try to steal. That goes over to We Are Poggers, who once again have looked like a much better team in this game. Toxic Nature really looked like they're just kind of, I don't want to say it looks like they're trolling around, but they haven't looked crisp. They have not looked as clean as they did in game number 1. And that's something that, maybe they should work on going back into game number 2, or game number 3 rather, because this certainly is going to 3. It's the last chance to look strong. We'll see if Toxic Nature can do that. They have one more fight to attempt to save the game here for themselves, but I really don't feel that it's going to be successful. No plans made. Walk into the base. Kuroko gonna find Aku, but I don't really think Aku wants to be in this situation. Smoke screened up. He's gonna get one shot. Of course, the design of the dive of the base is coming through. That's the ultimate in the backline by the Kaisa. Does so much damage, and she is keeping herself safe. Hero's Entrance actually not keeping herself. She finally goes down. Kaisa is out, but it doesn't make any difference. 3 members have fallen already. They make that 4 for Toxic Nature. Panagaku, now just the Leona left alive. He's gonna be going down. It's the clean ace, and that is gonna be the end of this one, folks. It is We Are Poggers evening up the game score 1-1. They look like a much better team in this game than game number 1. A much better draft, and I think honestly just kind of a troll draft there by Toxic Nature. Not sure why they went for the Brand Jungle. I do not understand that at all. The AR just got camped in the mid lane. They didn't have tracking on the Graves, which didn't let Wande scale up like they did in game number 1. And really just things that went wrong for We Are Poggers in game number 1 went wrong for Toxic Nature here in game number 2. So it all comes down to this last game, which will be coming up after a short break. We're going to step aside as we prepare for the tiebreaker game. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Game number 3 is coming your way right now between Toxic Nature on the blue side once again, and We Are Poggers on the red side. It is 1-1 in this Zon best of 3. This game is the one for all of the marbles. We're 25 seconds to the game, and we could be meeting here early on in the game. We'll see if an invade comes through, potentially. 5-man stack. Happy Sugar Life walking himself forward as these teams very likely are going to meet right now. This could get very messy very quickly. There they go. Parallel Convergence is going to come down. That could be quite a big stun. No Plans Made also going very low, but it is the Garen that is taken out. Cat Dogger goes down. First blood in favor of No Plans Made. I'm actually a little bit surprised that nobody else managed to find themselves go down. Never Move goes just a little bit short, as that is that first kill for No Plans Made. And the side of We Are Poggers, that is a huge, huge start to the game, and I will tell you why. No Plans Made last game on the Malphite absolutely popped off, dumpstered Cat Dogger. Looking to repeat that performance in the Urgot. The mental probably already boomed a little bit for Cat Dogger, and so this is the lead that you do not want to be down. I'm glad that he didn't burn the flash. I think that would have been a big mistake to try to get himself out. Don't feel he would have been able to do so, but it is No Plans Made coming back to lane. Sorry about that. There goes the pen. With some boots and with a control ward in his pocket, as well as a nice little health lead in the mid lane. Happy Sugar Life up on Wande, just a little bit there. Excuse me, with the Swain. As I am, of course, Jarl Carl on the solo cast tonight. There might be a little bit more silence for hydration breaks and or vocal rest during this game, so we did increase the sound of the music on the Rift, so you can have a little bit of, cinematic mode here while I attempt not to ruin my vocal cords. So, Desert Rose in the bot lane, putting in the auto attacks. Lethal Tempo not taking this game by either AD carry. That's pretty standard stuff these days. Ezreal for a while was taking Lethal Tempo when Ezreals were mostly building Trinity Force second after Manamune, and that was considered to be enough attack speed that you would want to buff it up with the Lethal Tempo, since it does increase by percent. And it worked out pretty well for a while, but now everybody's gone back to Conqueror for the extra healing that it brings, which works out pretty gosh darn well. Pushing the bot lane has now gone in favor of the Ezreal Nautilus lane. This is a pretty typical lane, a pretty classic lane, does a lot of damage, and can set up Ezreal's W very well, which is really one of the main things you want to do with Ezreal, is set up that W burst, because it can be hard to proc sometimes from afar if you're just trying to go for like a W ult combo or a WQ combo without a little bit of CC from the support to help you out with that one. So a pretty slow early game, I would say, thus far. Haven't seen any kind of crazy fighting, although we might see a gank right now. Aku joining in. Happy Sugar Life backing himself away. Cocoon goes a little bit wide. Aku not quite able to find that skill shot. Happy Sugar Life walks himself away, as Kuroko was there for a bit of a counter gank as well. Meanwhile, on the bot lane, actually tell a lie, up in the top lane, I should say, Flip comes through onto Cat Dogger. Takes a little bit of damage from No Plans Made, who's continuing the chase forward a little bit, procs that, press the attack, but nothing more to come of that one. Diana goes in onto Happy Sugar Life, pops the Eye of Sauron back down, as that should be enough for the kill. Happy Sugar Life outplays Wande on that one. Aku is here potentially for a flash forward with the Cocoon. Is it going to be available? He has Repel available as well if he needs to drop the tower aggro, but in the end doesn't even need to do so. The flash in trades the kill back. So teleport is available for the Swain to get back to the lane just a little bit easier. Nice little trade. In the mid lane, not a whole lot will come of that. This Elise is starting to get rolling just a little bit, which could be a concern for them. Dragon not up for another minute. Will be a Cloud Dragon for the first one this game, as she does transition through the mid lane and down toward the bot side, where she will run into Kuroko, but a hook goes through in the bot lane. Chaos Fury trying to engage, but there's a lot of minions. They can take a lot of damage very quickly. Arcane Shift over the wall. Bone Skewer going to flip Chaos Fury back in. Grappler backing himself away. Ignites down onto the Ezreal. W procs from the Pike, trying to get a bit of HP back, but he is still spotted out in this situation. Chaos Fury picks up the kill on the Pike. Desert Rose going to be falling very soon as well. Root comes down from the auto tech, beautifully done by the support. Nautilus is such a strong champion. Kuroko could be in trouble as well. Aku takes a lot of damage from the tower, but everybody backs himself away in the jungle position. Double kill in favor of Toxic Nature, doing much, much better in this early game, as it looks like in this series, if you're on the blue side, it means you have an advantage in the early game every single time. Who knew blue side was so strong in and of itself? There's a lot of trading in solo lanes as well. These teams, once they started fighting, are just not willing to back down, and I think the most worrying thing right now is this Ezreal is about to steal this blue buff as well. Actually, don't give it to the Ezreal. I'm a little surprised to see that, but blue buff stolen over. Ezreal, a double kill for himself, goes back to base, 1,500 gold in the pocket. That should be the early tier, or actually goes for the Sheen. This is going to be quite the most terrifying Ezreal in this game, as I also should point out in the top lane, No Plans Made has kind of squandered his lead for himself. He's down some HP right now, up against Cat Dogger, as this Garen is not really that far behind at all. Those boots aren't making that much difference up there either for this Urgot. So gonna be forced into a recall. Kuroko's in the area. They maybe could go for a gank. Low mana, no plans made. But hey, you never know. Maybe could go for something. Kuroko only level 3, however, hasn't gotten a lot after having to counter gank the mid lane a couple of times and spending a lot of time around there. So I think we're gonna see that kind of fizzle out. Aku in the bot completed smite upgrades for both these junglers, so they can use those if they go toe-to-toe with some enemy champions here. A bit of AP being built as well by Aku, helping out his side just a little bit on that one. Level 6 is finally hit for no plans made, so it can set up the ganks a lot easier with that Fear Beyond Death, I believe it's called, grinding up the opponents. That is indeed the ultimate name. So if he does get a gank from Kuroko, that should likely be a kill onto CatDogger, as the Elise of Aku picks up that first dragon. Maybe going to go for a dive actually in the bot lane. That could be pretty exciting. Happy Sugar Life takes a lot of damage from those Crescent sweeps. Wande has the ultimate available. That could get very dangerous very quickly. Ignite is back off cooldown as well for the Diana. Hook goes short in the bot lane. Bone Skewer as well. Going to miss a couple of traded skill shots as Kuroko and Aku have found each other. Grappler not going to be able to find anything as Elise does repel to the blast cone and get over the wall perfectly safely. A little bit of farming in all of the lanes right now. Just not a lot of really all-in engaging. There's been some trading, but nobody really actually going for a kill as of yet. I think maybe just waiting for a couple more items to come through, waiting for those skill shots to land before you really want to go for that all-in that you're sure is going to work. So we could be in for a little bit of a lull right now. Both major objectives are off the map. There's no Herald, there's no Dragon, and people just got access to their ultimate, so maybe we'll see a little bit of playmaking. But, the Swain's ultimate is defensive. A lot of these ultimates are, can be used defensively as well. So I don't think we're going to see a ton of kills for the next, 30 seconds or so as people are kind of getting level 6s, especially in the bot lane. I think once the bot lanes have access to the ultimates, we could see an engage come through with the Aphelios ultimate. Can be done with a lot of things. You can heal off of it. You can get the proc of the Infernum if you want more damage. You go for the Gravitum for the slow. So a lot of ways that could be used. CatDogger, it looks like, has just repeatedly engaged on no plans made up here in the top lane and then repeatedly not found anything, just kind of on repeat. So that's a little bit interesting to see come through as pressure in the bot lane for this Sheen Ezreal is finally starting to mount. It hadn't been super strong, but he's up, around 20 CS as well as Kuroko is joining the bot lane. Gravitum as well at the root down onto Desert Rose, the flash from Pike. Not going to find anything. Bone Skewer as well gets canceled out, but it is the Nautilus left to dry. No flash available. Panugaku trying to get himself away. Can he make up the distance? No, he can't. Kuroko finds the kill, but meanwhile in the mid lane, Swain has gone down. Happy Sugar Life, despite the Demonic Ascension, did end up falling to that gank, I do believe. Unlucky for him. Goes down 1-for-1 across the map, but I think a trade that actually does benefit the side of Toxic Nature just a little bit at the end. It is a support for the mid laner, and they have this push in the mid lane for the Diana. Wande getting some free farm and a couple of free tower plates for himself, in addition to the Herald now going down in favor of this Elise of Aku. So I think overall a small win for Toxic Nature, but nothing that can't be overcome, of course. Only a 2,000 gold lead. That could balloon a little bit farther if this Herald is dropped in the mid lane. That would give a lot of plate money. A lot of plate money overall has so far gone in favor of Toxic Nature right now. 3 plates in the mid lane, 1 plate in the bot lane, plus the Herald that is potentially soon to come. So they could be breaking open quite a lot of plates and getting themselves a lot of gold here in this early game as they enjoy their pleasant position. Nautilus roaming up into the mid lane, but there's no mid laner to help him out with this gank, so it's either going to have to be a lengthy roam or maybe just a support and jungle roam up in for this gank. Aku, there's a flash away from Happy Sugar Life, but he gets hit by the dredge line, and the cocoon goes a little bit wide, I do feel, but it doesn't make any difference. One more auto attack is going to be enough. Repel away to the creep. Aku very, very clean on in that situation. A nice gank as this Swain really just having a pretty rough game so far. Ganked a couple of times. We've seen a lot of mid lane camping also in this series that I haven't really touched on that much. Herald dropped in the mid lane. That's a big win right now for Toxic Nature as they look to be going quite strong on this. Also, a fight could break out here. Zanya is down from Panugaku. The fight does commence as well. That's a nice depth charge. At the same time, Desert Rose stands no chance to get out of that situation. He goes down. His team just has to leave him out to dry. The sacrifice wasn't even able to use Flash. Didn't have a time that he was able to use that summoner spell to get himself out. Dragon up in a minute, though. He will be up for that, of course. Back alive on the map right now. So we could still see a contest of this dragon. The Swain Demonic Ascension will be available for the dragon fight, which could prove to be rather pivotal. Swain's ult, even when he's behind, he has the Rod of Ages already. That's all he has to his name. Actually doesn't have any kind of endurance item. But is still able potentially to get a lot done in an AoE fight. Meanwhile, Pyke is going to get dove right now. I'm not entirely sure this is the world's greatest idea. Stun goes down onto the Nautilus. That is that death from below. Grappler picks up 1 kill, picks up 2 kills as well. Think of the gold that's going over. Aku could be in all sorts of trouble right now. Grappler goes down though. At the same time, Happy Sugar Life and the Urgot are here. No plans made. Grinding them up, or at least trying to do so. Can they get the killing? Wande trying to do his best. Is the auto attack coming through? No, it's not. Demonic Ascension going to finally proc. That's the shutdown in favor of the Swain at the end of the day. A 3 for 2 in favor of We Are Poggers as the tower dive goes terribly wrong. Death from below from Pyke is a very strong ability you do not want to trifle with, as another plate goes over in the top lane in favor of CatDogger. So overall, not the world's worst trade. 3 for 2, not a huge deal. We'll see if the Dragon is next up in the sights, as that is now on the Rift, as Chaos Fury completes another plate for himself. These plates have been massive for these teams right now. 4 in the bot lane, 5 in the mid lane, and 1 in the top lane. 10 plates, a massive amount of gold, 1,600 gold just from those tower plates. Dragon now started up, and it should be going over pretty much uncontested for Toxic Nature, who, despite that little misstep on the dive, are still certainly in control of this game. They only lost that fight 3 for 2 on a failed tower dive. That happens to the best of us. I think this Ezreal is still very out of control. I'm very disappointed he hasn't gotten the tier yet. He just completed the Man Immune. That's going to be a very late stacking Ezreal, which could be something that comes back to harm him later on in this game. But for now, he's strong. He's ahead of the curve, so I don't think it'll matter that much. I think he could be a lot stronger, though, if he had decided to forego some of that early damage and had instead gone for the tier, just scaled it up early because he was so fed at that, very quick stage of the game. But he has the Man Immune, he has the Sheen, so he's doing just fine in terms of AD, starting to hit pretty hard. This could be a collapse, actually. Protobelt forward from Wande, trying to find the catch under Desert Rose. Isn't quite able to do so. Unfortunately, has to back himself away, as we have reached a little bit, another one of those little lull states in the game. Not a lot of fighting happening in the last minute or so. I feel sure that will pick back up, though, as these towers start to fall. Chaos Fury not quite able to break that one in the bot lane. The tower plate still up, provides a lot of defensive statistics to it. Will take quite the effort to break that one down, although they may have it right now. I don't think this can really be defended. The 2v2 is certainly not in favor of the We Are Poggers side. So this tower is going to have to be conceded before plates go down. That is 2 clean towers before tower plating falls at 14 minutes. 13 minutes, 2 towers, 2 dragons, 8 to 16 kills for Toxic Nature. They're doing very well. It will be a Mountain Soul this game, the same as in game number 1. And they're well on their way to that stack up as well. We're on pace for around a 22.5-minute soul. Which is, about as early as you ever see it. So objective-wise, going very well for Toxic Nature. Not quite as much in the kills. 3 kills went over to Swain. Like I'd mentioned, that ultimate can be, quite strong for him, but it was enough in the end. Actually, we're going to hold that thought. Engage coming through. Aku getting himself out, repel up into the air, but he doesn't really have anywhere to go. Has to just go right back down. What goes up must come back down. That's the Moonfall. Comes through. Aku has fallen. Wande now is in this situation. Can he pick up the kill onto Kuroko? The Ignite is going to be enough. Yes, it will. Wande able to trade that one back. But in the end, a terrible fight for the side of Toxic Nature, as Aku just caught face-checking that bush up a river without a paddle. Wasn't able to get out of that situation. Didn't have anything to repel to, unfortunately. There just had to go right back down into that parallel convergence, got stunned up and went down immediately. Wande isn't really strong enough to save his jungler there. Does trade 1 kill back on the enemy jungler, but in the end, it is just that 2 for 1. So another bad fight taken by Toxic Nature. Panugaku in the top lane, no plans made. Gets, Arcane shifted on, but nothing else going to come of that, I don't feel. Stuck under his tower. I'm not entirely sure they can dive him. This seems pretty risky. They may try. I think with 3 members, they could easily. Diving an Urgot with just your bot lane seems wrought with peril without any poke really landing, as the Vision of Empire comes down from the Swain to further dissuade such an action. So back to just kind of chilling a little bit. Aku chilling in the jungle again, misses his cocoon for what feels like the 5th time this game, but he is able to get away. The Never Move also did not land, so sparing everybody any kind of a situation, as it looks like the pressure on this top lane tower might end up being too much. A lot of members for both sides congregating around this objective here. As the Herald, it looks like, is back on the map as well. A nice pick up, a lot of objective control. Maybe Toxic Nature only is able to control objectives from the blue side. I'm not entirely sure why that would be, but games number 1 and 3, when they've been on the blue side, they have been very, very strong in terms of objectives. Game number 2, they looked a lot more flat, but looking kind of like their game 1 selves here in this one are Toxic Nature. This tower is going to go down to the top lane. That will balloon the gold, lead to more than 4,000 gold. Chaos Fury and Panugaku taking that one down. So a very clean game so far. Tower in the mid lane also going to fall. Towers in very rapid succession. The tempo is definitely being pushed right now by Toxic Nature. They're looking to end this game sooner rather than later, trying to continue the snowballs. The gold lead is now 5,000 gold. Kuroko could be caught out of position as well. Does have the ultimate available, but I don't think it's going to be enough to really extricate himself from this situation. The crab goes over as well, or the raptor, I should say, the big one, is picked up there by Panugaku with that dredge line. Body blocking for his jungler, but in the end taken down there by that Nautilus dive in the tower. Cat Dogger going under the tower onto Desert Rose. That's not the choice I would have gone with. A very rare W ultimate, the pistol ultimate for Desert Rose to get himself a bit of health. Vision of Empire goes down onto Cat Dogger with the never move, not going to quite land, so he is able to extricate himself from that in, a little bit of a sticky situation it could have been, but he's able to get out. He is Garen. He will heal himself back up relatively easily. Desert Rose continuing to farm on the Aphelios, something that has received a few buffs in the last patch. I didn't really touch on it that much as we didn't stream the draft for this game, number 3. But Aphelios, received a little bit of AD, maybe getting a nudge back into the meta. Dragon on the table now as well. This will be the 3rd Dragon of the game. It looks like there isn't going to be that much of a contest. Echoes on the other side of the map, so I don't think you go for this. Panugaku has flashed in. Very aggressive Chaos Fury here as well. Teleport's being channeled. I'm not sure that's the fight that you actually want to take. It's just the 3rd dragon. There's no soul. But Happy Sugar Life is here. This could be a big play by the Swain. If he gets caught by the dredge line, though, he could be going down very quickly. That's the Demonic Ascension. Ultimate down by Cat Dogger. Beautifully played. Happy Sugar Life is gone. No more Swain. No more Aphelios. The carries are gone. Panugaku going to likely be traded back. That's the death from below from the Pike. Able to trade a little bit of gold for his team. The Grappler going very low. Kuroko now has to run as well. No ultimate available. Remember, he used that earlier. Chaos Fury could go over the wall. If he's able to get that in with the Arcane Shift, is not quite able to do so. No chase going to continue there, but it is soul point now in favor of Toxic Nature. They're pushing down the mid lane as well. Grappler and Kuroko just forced to back themselves away from the situation. Nothing they can do to contest, as it looks like Toxic Nature is just completely unopposed wherever they go on the map. They have 3 dragons, 2 heralds, 4 towers. It's just nothing on the side of We Are Poggers. They are just getting run around the map right now. One Day takes some damage from the Vision of Empire and the tower shot, but nothing that should not be overcomable by him right now, as finally Toxic Nature decides to peel away. Maybe move up to the top lane, though, and then likely go back and spend their gold. They do have quite a lot of gold in pockets. Nice little red buff steal coming out as well, which is always nice to see. You always want to get the red buff on the Ezreal. If you are an AD carry main, you certainly will understand. It is always red buff. Red buff is more important than CS. It's more important than helping your team. It's more important than a team fight. I would not be surprised to see Chaos Fury go straight to his own red buff just to refresh that timer there for himself. He has completed the gauntlet a few minutes ago, working on either a Blade of the Ruined King or a Death Stance right now. You can't really tell. I would imagine a Death Stance. That is the by far more popular item to go 3rd, as we see Grappler clearing out some wards. Actually misses that one a little bit, unfortunately. Cat Dogger teleports down to the bot lane just to speed up his push a little bit more. They really want to keep the tempo up, and they have done very well at doing so all game. I don't expect them to, lay off that anytime soon. I think they'll continue to push as rapidly as possible, continue to try to find advantages, because it looks like when they are on the front foot that they're winning a lot more when they're not giving We Are Poggers a chance to react. And when We Are Poggers can't react, they have not been able to come up with anything. They've looked lost essentially in fights. So I think this is a very smart way to play the game. Pushing the bot lane makes a lot of sense. The pushing the mid lane with the whole team. You send the Garen down to the side lane. He's a very strong split pusher when he has Trinity Force. He takes towers very, very quickly. And it doesn't need to be a rapid push. You just want to keep the pressure up, right? It's not about pushing very quickly. It's just about making sure your opponents don't have time to ever get back in the game. They don't have a fight that they can actually win. Sure, Garen's going to go over this fight. There is the Fear Beyond Death comes out from No Plans Made. Actually, tell a lie, it just was the E on the flip. But Cat Dogger is just going to heal up. I don't actually think his team needed to come help him. I guess they're just going to try to push this tower down. Not entirely sure how this one's going to work out. Bone Skewer goes out. Repel has to come down eventually, but Aku is able to keep himself safe. Nobody gets picked off. I really don't like the push actually by all 5 members, though they are able to get No Plans Made off of the tower. They may eventually be able to break this tower down, but I don't think they actually needed to bring the whole team over. They could have continued to pressure in the mid lane. Instead, they have Diana there. Wande in the mid, pushing himself in as the push continues in the bot as well. This siege is very, very strong. Grappler not able to find any kind of a bone skewer. It's not even a fight they really want to take. Both inhibitor turrets are now under fire. Parallel convergence doesn't find anything. Panugaku dodging away from that hook. There's Wande, just has to back himself out a little bit. Doesn't get flipped by the Urgot as the team just rotates back down to the bot, back to the mid, back to the bot. These teams just going back and forth, one after another, trying to find a little bit of advantage. If you are Toxic Nature, trying to repel the dive. If you are, we are Poggers. Nice little hook come through onto Cat Dogger, but he's able to walk himself away with the Q, cleansing that slow. And Wande is now back on the mid tower as this is being juggled very, very nicely. You'd have to feel eventually they will either go for a tower dive or peel back for the dragon on the Dragon Soul. Definitely could be a fight in the offing, but we have not quite arrived at yet as they once again rotate back around. Cook lands onto Happy Sugar Life. This could be the fight that we have been waiting for. A huge True Shot barrage goes across the back of that Crescent Sweep. Not going to quite find anybody. Wande not able to dive that tower, but that should be enough pressure to move on towards the inhibitor turret right now. I mean, eventually they probably could just dive one of these towers. They may back themselves off though and look for the dragon, but I think this is actually quite smart because you have to fight over this dragon. You would imagine if you are We Are Poggers, at some point you got to pick a hill to die on, and the Dragon Soul seems like a good place to do that, in my opinion. You don't want to give that over. Teleport actually is coming in behind. This is going to be the full fight that we have been waiting for this game, and I don't know if it's going to work out that well. Happy Sugar Life doesn't get into the ultimate before he goes down almost immediately. Cat Dogger has picked up that kill. Chaos Fury has got himself to the back of the fight. He is completely safe, and Diana is just wrecking the back line. No Plants Made is gone. It's just Kuroko that's left alive. He's going to likely go back to the ultimate. Might not even be able to get into it. It's a double kill for the Diana. A clean ace, 5-0, as this could even potentially be the end of the game right now as they're on to the mid lane turret. The inhibitor tower very low. It's going to be going down. The inhibitor likely to follow after this one. As a dominating performance so far by Toxic Nature. They are 11,000 gold in the lead. They just grabbed themselves the inhibitor tower. They grabbed themselves the inhibitor. They're going to be getting the second inhibitor, and they have the Dragon Soul in their pocket as well. They could go for one more fight. Potentially, the second inhibitor is going to fall for this team right now. They back themselves away. Pull comes in. Cat Dogger is able to get himself out of that situation. Panugaku walking off as well as Toxic Nature look like they're going to go for one more push to end this game. Likely a lot of gold in the pockets of all the members. They just need to reset. They have the soul in their pocket. There's no possible way they can actually lose these games in these fights. It's just the Mountain Soul on top of all the damage they have is too strong, I do feel, for them. Excuse me, is going to be just a little bit too much, I think, as Cat Dogger actually has disconnected. So that potentially could cause a problem here. And he's back. That's pretty exciting stuff. We are back onto the Rift, everybody, as the Dragon, or the Baron, I should say, going to be the next objective on the table. It's 11,000 gold in the lead right now. In favor of Toxic Nature. Items have been purchased. Ezreal's 3 items on Diana as well. Only 1 3/4 on the Garen, but it's not the main carry here necessarily, as it looks like it is going to be the Baron fight. Very likely. There's the engage onto Kuroko, already back into the ultimate. Wande could be a little bit caught out of position. There's the Purr Belt, but he's just going in. He picks up 1 kill for himself. Maybe could be the sacrificial lamb. Kuroko goes into the fight, but he gets knocked up and blown up almost immediately. Chaos Fury is now godlike. Wande does eventually find himself getting ground up by the Urgot, but the kill is traded back very immediately. The Urgot is gone. Happy Sugar Life healing up in the Demonic Ascension as well, but I don't think it's going to be enough to actually win the fight for his team. It will not. Aku is up against Desert Rose as well, but the stun lands from the Cocoon. Beautifully played. Surely that's going to be the end. The teleport is coming through, and it looks like Toxic Nature have finally done it. They're going to secure themselves the game. A very well-played affair for them. Every lane is winning for them. It's just Grappler left to fight, but there's nothing that can be done, I don't feel, for himself here. He goes down. That's the ace. It is just Kuroko left to watch as his base goes down. They're on to the Nexus itself, and it is Toxic Nature that are going to come out on top in a relatively short game number 3. Game 2 is a little bit sloppy, but in the end, it doesn't make any difference. They get the win in the series. Overall, I would say, well played by both sides. They fought in all the games. Blue side apparently is just too strong. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there, but Toxic Nature, they're able to secure the win in the Zon group over We Are Poggers. They looked a little bit different in the second game, just didn't look as clean, but in the end, they were able to take it to 3. It is the best of 3. That's why it's a best of 3. Flukes do not count. Toxic Nature, they looked like the much stronger team in both games 1 and 3. Every lane was kind of getting ahead. here, no plans made. Even with the first blood, wasn't really able to get anything over Cat Dogger. The Garen was pretty strong. Diana Ezreal also looked really, really good in this game. So overall, a pretty nice time. I had a fun time, even on the solo cast. So thank you all for sticking with us throughout tonight and the technical difficulties. But we are going to probably wrap it up relatively quickly here. We'll be back tomorrow with more games. It'll be myself and Baymax, on our Sunday show. It'll be myself and Ken, along with Tori, our host, with Disaster Gang versus TG Ezreal, so the sister team of the game we were supposed to cast today. So you can check that out tomorrow. That's coming your way at 8 Eastern, and I do hope, and I can almost promise that it will actually start on time, unlike today's games. But with that being said, you guys can check out the Discord below if you want to learn more about Style Esports. And our Twitter is down there for some announcements as well. But with that, on behalf of myself, it's just me tonight and our gracious host, Tori. I want to thank you all so much for watching and sticking with us, and I hope we see you tomorrow. Good night.